Are you worried that your relationship might be in trouble because you've been fighting a lot? We hear it all the time. You know, it's, trouble in paradise. They've been fighting a lot. Or maybe you just feel it yourself. But it turns out, this is good news. We're going to kind of rearrange the way that you're thinking, reverse the way you're thinking, that fighting might actually be a sign that you're in a healthy relationship.
Why? Because of passion?
Well, passion, yes, because passion means that you still care about the situation and the other person. If you didn't care and you weren't fighting or arguing, that's when I think that's a big bad sign.
Indifference is the worst sign.
They say the opposite of love is indifference, not hate.
Yeah.
Because hate is still passionate. So when you find yourself saying, I don't really care.
Right.
What
Like,
you
You're
do.
telling me that the
It's
past 20 years of my fighting with Carol is healthy?
Is
It's passionate.
we would have to know all the ins and outs.
I bet
It's
you one thing.
passionate.
There's one thing you probably should address.
What?
They say, because I've read about that before too, they say the dirty fighting is what's bad.
That
Yeah.
is
That's what
key.
I'm best at.
Yeah,
Dirty
that's
fight.
key. The name calling, the accusing, the
Yep.
pointing of fingers.
Yep.
That's the bad part. Yeah, that's the bad thing.
That's my best style, though.
That's what Jason thrives.
Wow.
My best.
Well, sign that your relationship actually is healthy, even if you're fighting, is that proving the fighting that you are actively interested in each other's lives. You couldn't fight if you didn't communicate.
Yeah, and if you, right.
Like, how are you going to fight if you don't know what's going on?
And the good news is, it's the one time she'll actually put down the phone.
Hey, this is
See your
designed-
style.
Specific.
This is designed to help everybody,
Yeah.
but I'm glad that it's really talking to you.
Well, it helps, right?
Sure, absolutely. It's attention, by the way. People say, I do pay attention. I do. Well, paying attention to your partner is more than just listening to them or pretending like
Or
you're
hearing
listening.
their words, but
or
not
hearing
really
their
listening.
words. Yes. We say that to my son all the time. I'm like, he's a really good, like, he can hear, but he doesn't listen.
He's got great hearing.
Mhm,
Great
hearing. You have a commitment when you make your vows, or if you're married, or if you're just in a committed relationship. The commitment that you are making is wanting to know where the other person comes from, wanting to completely immerse yourself into their world, learn where they came from, learn how they grew up, learn the things that they love, their passions. And I don't think we think about that very often. It's
what
not
if
just
they're
like,
wrong?
I think this person's hot. Well,
Like, what if they're coming from the wrong place? Their way is not
that's
that
in
good.
your opinion.
Yeah.
Because they
You
think,
could establish some evidence and facts.
see, you could.
Yeah.
You
What a waste
could.
of time.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I mean, but not all arguments. I would say most of the arguments are not over facts. They're over opinions and
And
feelings.
emotion plays a big role.
Emotion,
I
definitely.
mean, how many times have you been in a fight? I mean, you can remember some, maybe, but do you actually remember 2 days later, what were you fighting about?
You don't remember.
And if you had facts and stuff, you probably would remember, but it's because everyone's emotions get so high.
And that's like why you're fighting in the first place, because you care. You know, or you think you are right, or that's the way you feel.
Or you feel hurt, or you feel discouraged, or
Absolutely. So I think just recognizing that when you make the commitment to somebody else, that you are committing to their likes and their dislikes and their past and the things that drive them and make them who they are. You know?
Yeah. I think you're saying it, Katie. Like, oh, they're attractive, or you're like, I'm committing to all their good parts,
Exactly.
not all the other stuff that everyone has. Everyone has a past, and I think the more I'm learning, the more you listen and actually listen and learn, it can help you understand when they maybe get triggered by something, or you have the open communication where you can say, oh, they do this because they told me when they were 17 this thing happened to them, and so since then they felt this way.
Yeah, yeah.
And that way, especially if you know their triggers, you can really slam
That
them.
is right. That is true. Something that came was in
Oddly-
the past that was horrible, and you circle it back 20 years later and hit it. That's the dirty play.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed in my life the few times I would say to someone else for once, why would you say that? Why would you say that? You're trying to hurt me.
Just remember that when you are fighting, that it is their commitment as well. It's not just on you. It's that they have also made that commitment. And so they owe it to you to get inside your psyche and understand where you come from. And so it goes both ways.
Just
remember
It's
that.
tricky.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Another sign that all the fighting that you're doing in your relationship, and maybe you're worried that it's in trouble because you are fighting a lot, a sign that it is healthy, you are aware of your attachment style. I'm not aware of mine.
What do you mean?
No.
I have recently learned about that.
Yeah?
And it's
It goes deep.
What's attachment style?
So they're typically formed, your attachment style is believed to be typically formed in childhood based on how you're raised, and it impacts your relationship as an adult. Like, for example, one style is secure attachment, which means that you communicate your needs clearly and cope with being alone very well, even while you're anxious. And I don't know very many people who are 100% secure.
No, and I took it. It's kind of like a spectral thing. I took like multiple of these things online, when I wasn't trying to find out which Harry Potter character I was.
Sure, or what kind of bread you were.
Yeah, or what Yellowstone character I am. But yeah, type of bread. No, but it's like a really detailed, several of them. And I was insecure. No, sorry, I was secure attachment style when I'm in a committed relationship. So it's not about when you're not, because I think I might be totally different.
Be more like
but
that.
it's spectral though. Like it was showing like your score and then where you're on this graph where it's like a 4 box thing, and you can see, oh, I'm dotted close. Yeah, I'm secure, but I'm also somewhat close to maybe a different attachment style. So then you're like, okay, I'm not 100% secure, and that's because of the way I was raised. I think what's happened to me since is maybe a lot more insecure.
Put you in the insecure box. Yeah,
right.
Sure.
Huh.
And that does, it is who you are at the core,
Yes.
I suppose, but then your life experiences changes all
I'm
that,
like,
for
oh man,
sure.
where's the most insecure box? Like, you're off the charts.
Well, I think that's important to, I just realized when you're secure and things are going well in your secure relationship, you're probably less secure when you're not always around and doing different things. It's when you start getting insecure that it starts deteriorating rapidly and quickly and fighting and emotion because maybe you're insecure about something that's going on. And then all of a sudden being alone doesn't feel good. When I say alone, I'm just saying apart or somewhere else with doesn't feel right or feel good because you're constantly dwelling and thinking.
The goal, I believe, would be to be secure with and without being with your partner. Like
Right.
you want to be secure when things are going well. Like you were just saying, things are going well. It's like everything's great. They love me. I love them. We're together. We're committed. Everything's great. And then they go out for a guy's night or they go out for a girl's night. And you're like, are they cheating on me? No, you want to be secure in knowing that when we're not side by side, that relationship is committed and secure 24/7.
I think the more secure I feel, the more I want to hang out with other people.
That's true.
That could be.
Because you feel
It's
secure.
like I know that we're not going anywhere.
Right.
Everything's okay.
And you're not worried about it, because if you're worried, and I think I think learning your attachment style is good, and I think my understanding is how you are in a relationship that's going well. But then if there's trust broken, then I think that changes everything.
yeah.
Then you're like, where are you?
Definitely.
What are you doing? Who are you talking to?
That's why when that happens, it takes so long. Or what you do is a technique that I've known to work over the years is you
I've been known to work.
you can keep them on their toes. Subtle
Knew it was
comments
coming.
like, "Oh yeah, everything's great." Not sure who this Michelle girl is over there, but anyways, you just keep them on their toes to make them a little less.
Jason,
secure.
that leads me to the next sign that you're in a healthy relationship.
But seriously though, we should post a thing about attachment styles, because it also will show, not that, any attachment styles can work together, but there are some that are in direct opposition. Like one where I read about one where when things don't go their way, and it's the way they're raised, typically a mom or a dad they didn't have a good relationship with, or maybe both, where they kind of run away from people. And if you're more secure attachment style, sometimes when they run, you're used to things being secure, so then you kind of follow.
Sure.
So then you're like following them subconsciously, because you're like, no, things are supposed to be okay.
And pulling away from you.
But they're pulling away from you because they're not used to having a normal circumstance. I've learned a lot recently.
Is that the one that's called the avoidment?
Avoidance.
The avoidant.
Avoidant,
attachment. Those types, the avoidant. Saying that right? Yeah, avoidant attachment tend to struggle more with intimacy.
Right.
And
When things
intimacy is important.
they go well, and I'm talking about like just
No, not sexual intimacy, like
love
and sharing your hopes and your dreams. I know it sounds like how Jason says it sounds, but it's very important.
And what I've read about those types is because they were hurt as a child. They don't want to subconsciously, they don't want to be hurt again.
Right.
So they avoid getting in those deep, loving relationships, even subconsciously, because they're so scared of being hurt.
We are all messing up our children. And if you think that you're not messed up, you're wrong by your own parents, not on purpose.
Yeah.
I used to think that I was like, well, I'm never going to say anything negative about my parents. That's why I don't want to talk about them when I go to therapy or whatever. They didn't do anything wrong. They just were doing the best they could based on what they knew and how they grew up.
Right.
So we're all just screwing each other up.
Yeah.
And we don't mean to.
Yeah, and there's definitely different levels, but yeah.
Yes. I mean, in like the most
know what you mean.
wholesome of ways.
Yes.
Now, there's like a very different category where you are actually hurting
What
somebody.
I feel
but-
bad about is having really good parents, and then when I screw up, I'm like, it's not because of them.
No, sure, right.
But there are people who definitely are parents, but I feel as a parent that I'm definitely messing up all the time.
100%. I feel like I'm doing
Feel
my
guilty
kids
all the time.
dirty all the time. And I don't mean to. It just,
No.
it's like, that's all I'm just doing the best I can.
Yeah.
I really like to believe that everybody is
You would hope so.
doing
yeah.
the best that
Just
they
trying.
can.
Out
Yep.
of curiosity, Jared, did your parents let you eat any amount of sugar when you were younger? No, I'm serious. I'm not being joking.
Oh, you
Yeah.
weren't?
Yeah, I'm just
Was
curious.
Excuse
your
me.
breast milk full of steroids instead of
Maybe.
your growth?
I'm just asking.
No, they actually didn't. No.
Okay.
No, we rarely went out to eat.
Uh-huh.
It was a treat if we did.
Oh, gosh,
And
yes.
My mom, naturally, even now, has always eaten super healthy. My dad, now, if my dad went to the grocery store, it was like Fruity Pebbles, soft batch cookies. You know, my mom was like, did you get anything that we could actually like eat? But she didn't like 99% of the grocery shopping, but every once in a while he would. If he took us with us, he was such a sucker for like whatever we wanted. But overall, no, it wasn't Sugar Fest.
No, that's fine. I didn't know. Did you rebel against that and eat a lot of sugar or no?
At other
I have
people's
a
houses.
sweet tooth. Yeah, of course.
And yes, that was the best part about a sleepover is that you got to raid somebody else's pantry.
Right. Yeah, I naturally, I think, have a sweet tooth. Like, I love sugar. Yes.
Got it. Not in a bad way. I'm just curious about something I've been studying. Go ahead.
Please don't study. What on earth? please work on
You're
yourself.
wondering if Jared's parents are to blame for Jared's love
No,
of food.
I'm not
and-
saying that because every household's different. And like right now, I mean, I have never like kind of limited what Landon eats. And Landon's very skinny, super tall, ironically. And he, you know, I keep reading about how sugar is so
Oh, it's horrible.
Yeah.
healthy, and it leads to heart disease and this and this and this. And I'm wondering if it's association with also weight and when you get older, but then Landon's not, but maybe he's not healthy. I don't know.
Well, he's also got a raging metabolism.
True,
he's
but that
young. He's
doesn't
got
mean-
youth on his side.
That doesn't mean though he's not. That's not a healthy
No.
way to
But he has something working in his favor right now.
for weight.
Yeah, when that
Yeah.
doesn't work in his favor any longer as he ages, that will present itself as an issue.
Or it
Good.
could be an issue even skinny because it does lead to diabetes and heart
because
disease.
well, sugar is in everything.
Yes,
Yes.
I've learned that.
Everything that we eat.
Yeah, and it's
And
delicious.
in fact, it's in so much stuff that I've cut out so much sugar that I didn't realize was consuming. I'm having a problem now. I keep losing weight that I don't want to.
Does Landon like
Oh.
sweets because you know,
It
poor
does so
Jason.
sad.
I don't want to lose
Hate that
these,
for you.
I
these
just
LBs.
hate it. That I'm just
Well, like your
losing
dad
weight.
is for his age is relatively
Yeah.
thin. You're relatively thin.
And he had open heart surgery.
Right.
Yeah.
And he wasn't overweight, you know.
yeah, so laugh it up now, Jason. With your,
I'm not
your
laughing it up.
skinny body. No, but does Landon like in Everly? Do they like sweets?
Yes.
So I wonder why you don't like. I've never met someone who doesn't like
It's
sweets.
not that I don't.
It's just not your preferred.
Yeah, like there's times when out of the blue I'll have something that I'm like, oh, these are really good. And it's almost like addicting. I have to have
It
15
is.
more. Like those old people candies. Those
Werther's?
Like the
caramels.
Werthers.
You know why?
Yeah.
You know why I like
chewy
them?
ones are
because
good.
I never seek out candy, and if there's an old person around, they usually have these Werthers.
they got it in their pocket when they're
Right?
jingling their change.
But
Yes.
Good.
it's just like I don't. It doesn't crave my hunger. It
Yeah.
just tastes okay.
Do you know why the old people have candy in their pockets? Do you
No.
know why? Because probably a bunch of the medications they're on gives them dry mouth, and then also in case their blood sugar
Right,
drops.
the sugars are
Yeah.
low.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
So I mean, like I'm gonna start carrying them just in case.
Katie, I went to Crumble the other day.
Oh, see that?
Ooh.
I love crumble, but even that, I'm like, I can have an eighth of that cookie.
I've never done drugs before,
Yo, yeah.
but I feel like if I eat a whole one, like just one cookie, they're big though.
Uh-huh.
I feel high,
Yes.
and it's wonderful.
It's
but
But is it a good
crack.
high, or does it make you like,
Yes.
kind of like?
In
well,
the
I
moment,
don't want to eat another one right then.
Uh-huh.
Let the high, you got to crash, kind of like a drug addict, and then I'll take another one. But it was like, oh, I forgot what type it was, but you would have loved it. It was like caramelized sugar or salted
Oh,
caramel.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
Oh
would love
my
that one.
Gosh, almost died.
Just also, side note about crumble, deceiving, because you look at the calories and you're like, dang, that's not bad for a cookie. So then you eat one and then you realize it was for the quarter.
Yeah.
For the cookie,
One
yes.
quarter
my
of the
gosh.
cookie.
Yes.
Yes. I
Do
learned
they-
that the hard way.
Because you're technically supposed to cut them. They give you something so you can
Oh, yeah,
cut
they
them
get
in
the little
fours.
cutter
Yeah.
thing.
You
Yeah.
get a crumble cutter.
Just say,
crumble cutter,
here's
yeah.
your serving.
Yeah.
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 Just
I can't
Just a
drive.
side note.
I can't drive it by it. If I drive by it, my car, my Tesla will take me there. It just takes me. It
It's
just
your
knows.
car's fault.
It just
Nothing I can do
knows.
about it, and it ejects me out and throws me into the lobby.
into the store and puts a cookie directly into your mouth.
in my mouth, and my card's in the machine. I didn't do it. I didn't do it.
I don't know what happened.
You're going to crumble where you're getting this sugar, which is probably a massive amount in one cookie.
Mhm.
And I'm literally yesterday driving to find the most vegetable smoothie I can find, and then hold on, and then showing up there thinking, actually, this has too much sugar in it.
Oh, really?
And a
Wow.
smoothie.
What?
And it-
Wow.
Dang.
There's a big deal.
That
We
sounds
also
stressful.
We're different.
will drink 35 beers in a weekend.
That is
so,
true.
you
That
know,
is true.
it's you give and you take.
Yeah.
We all have our things.
We all have our things.
We
yeah.
do. Jason, just finally one point about how your relationship actually could be healthy. It probably is healthy if you're fighting.
Everybody's not, you're pointing
but
me out.
you led me to this one because
Oh,
you
okay.
said you find the trigger and then you just nail it home. And you said, what do you say? I specialize in that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Is that what you said? Okay.
I'm very good at dirty fighting.
Mm-hmm. You consistently should be each other's safe space,
Yeah.
which means
Yeah.
that sort of thing doesn't happen with the two of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't always, but if we're not fighting, it does.
Mm-hmm.
But if we're
This
fighting,
is if you're fighting.
I mean, I can go deep.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I really, really can go deep.
You should work on that maybe.
I am.
Mhm.
I'm trying.
Yeah. You know
I'll
that
tell
you
you
are.
one thing: the more sexy time that happens, the less deep I go.
That's what I've heard.
Interesting.
That's what I've heard.
That's unfortunate.
Stop it.
Oh man, Jason,
that's
you walked
the-
in and
Stop
That's
it.
just the way you were born. You had a little
Yeah.
weenie. Now, so your sexy times. I know Carol. If you're newer to the show, they had like a major drought for 7-8 years.
According
No, not
to
a
Jason.
major- it's like-
Yeah.
it's just very infrequent,
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
That's what he said.
and not
Right.
for 7 or 8 years.
I think you said 5, but maybe,
Well,
you're- maybe
I would say over the last 5 years, it's just not been like it was.
You were definitely showing
Moping.
signs of, yes, mopage.
yeah,
Mopage.
and back uppage.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
But she committed. She wanted to commit to like a 30-day sex challenge. You said no to it, but.
Right.
I know y'all have been doing it more recently. Is that still the case? Or
Yeah,
no?
she's been very proactive and shocking, and even just in general, it's made everything.
So you
Good.
feel
Better.
closer.
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I do.
And can you go
Nice.
past 4 minutes now or no?
Yeah, it depends. It depends on how frequent.
So if it's like the third time in the week, I don't know if you're
Yes.
doing. Okay.
By the third time, that's a yes. I just start thinking about maggots coming out of a cat. That's fine.
Whatever works.
I'm just thinking the worst
Mhm.
visual I had in my life, and that's one of them.
Yep.
Gross.
I used to think of an older lady at my church. But anyway, so whatever you got to do.
Whatever you got to do, I
That
suppose.
was
Yeah,
years-
whatever it takes.
Years and years ago.
Oh gosh.
Now
It's
my
true.
obesity just slows it down.
I just take a look down and I'm like, oh, God.
There.
Okay.
The circulation's just not there. So what are you going to do? All right. Hope that helped, maybe.
I don't know.
We learned a lot about sugar.
Yes, we did. Of course. Of
And that
course.
sometimes vegetable smoothies have too much
Too
sugar.
much sugar.
Well,
Yeah.
not for you guys. It would have been like 1/10 of the sugar of the cookie, but for me, it was.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
thrown it in the trash.
Got it.
Meanwhile, Katie and I will go to Chicago and get their milkshake that has a piece of cake at the bottom of the milkshake.
In it.
A
Like
full slice.
blended
sounds
up
good.
inside of it.
And then a
Woo!
big one, and then like a full
nice.
piece at the bottom of it.
Just so you know, absolutely just as delicious when you recreate it at home.
Oh, is it? You brought it to the house.
We did.